Hello, we're finally back. I know you're probably listening to this and thinking, Taylor, where have you been? Well, if you've been following my Instagram stories, you know I had some health things coming up and it was a lot. And we're still going through it. And if you want to follow that process, maybe I will make some videos on that in the future. But for now, I want to get back to what I've promised you guys, which is Anxiety Symptoms Explained series. And today we are doing all things heart related. I resonate with this symptom specifically because it was one of the worst ones I went through with anxiety. The physical sensations of the heart that I experienced, I truly thought that something was very, very wrong with me. So I want you to sit back for a second and think about how many times you have had your heart do something weird and your entire body immediately went into panic, like instant. It's crazy to me how many times this has happened to me, and even experiencing it in the past so many times, when you feel it again, you still take it so seriously because it is such a scary sensation. Symptoms of the heart just feel very out of our control. They feel very scary. They feel very suffocating. And it's kind of hard to function when you feel those ways because when it comes to your heart, there's no room in your brain for maybe this is nothing. It's always this matters, pay attention, let's figure it out. And that's why heart symptoms keep people stuck longer than almost any other symptom. Because even if you've been checked, like I said, even if your tests are normal, every time you experience that symptom or that feeling again, it makes you think like, oh, they missed something or this is something different that hasn't been tested. And you're still having that thought of what if this is the one time that it's not anxiety? What if this is something that I'm just not aware of is going on with me and I need to get it checked out? Because like I said, it is so uncomfortable feeling. So in this video, I'm not going to tell you you're fine. That's not going to help you at all. As much as you would probably love for me to just say, hey, you're completely fine, I'm going to explain what your heart is actually doing, why it feels so intense, and what you need to understand so you can stop reacting to it like it's an emergency every single time. So I'm going to explain how these heart symptoms can happen if you're somebody who struggles with anxiety. So if you're new here, I talk about anxiety from the perspective of somebody who has been very deep in it. It is my lived experience, especially with health anxiety, and also just from a physiological standpoint. Because what's helped me wasn't being just told it's just anxiety. That truly never helped me. I couldn't put two and two together on how a mental diagnosis, or what we're told is a mental diagnosis, can be so physical. So understanding what's happening in my body and why really helped me with my healing, actually. So if you have any symptoms such as heart racing, skipped beats, that's like PVCs or PACs, any pounding feeling, like you just sometimes like even a bounding heartbeat that feels hard, but like not fast. It just feels like you're so aware of it. You feel it just all over and your whole body. You can just feel the beat. Chest tightness, just a constant awareness of your heartbeat. We're going to break all that down. So let's start with why your heart gets targeted. Your brain prioritizes survival. We've talked about this before. Our bodies are always going to choose survival over anything, and your heart is directly tied to survival. So anything that feels off with your heart gets flagged immediately, just very urgently. Once your brain tags your heart as something to monitor, it's very hard to untag it. So now you're aware of it all the time, even when nothing is wrong, and that awareness alone changes how it feels. Your heart is not supposed to be steady. This is one of the misconceptions I see. People think a healthy heart should feel calm, steady, predictable, the same heart rhythm all the time. Like it should just beat quietly in the background and never change. And that's not what a healthy heart does. A healthy heart is constantly adapting. Even if you want to look into things like HRV, the more variability, the higher is actually better. It's a sign of healthy heart. So, a healthy heart is constantly adapting. Your heart rate changes with standing up, sitting down, walking, digestion, hydration levels, your blood sugar levels, hormones, stress. Even sometimes something as simple as rolling over in your bed can change your heart rate. So when people say, my heart feels different, that's not automatically a problem. That's your body responding. Our heart responding to our body and the ability to adapt with it is a sign of a healthy heart. Now, why a lot of this happens is adrenaline is the main driver. Let's talk about adrenaline because this is where most of this comes from. When your brain perceives a threat, it naturally releases adrenaline. Not even just a small amount, but a noticeable amount. Adrenaline changes your heart in a very specific ways because it increases your heart rate. It increases the force of each beat that's happening. It makes your body more aware of internal sensations. So now your heart is not only beating faster, beating harder, and now you're noticing it more. So this combination is what creates that feeling of something is wrong with my heart when really your heart is just responding to natural adrenaline. And like we have said in the nervous system series I did, that perceived threat can be something, a trigger so minor you might not even recognize what, like, that you had the trigger. A lot of people will say, I wasn't even anxious. And then suddenly my heart was racing, or suddenly my heart was skipping beats. And you might not even be realizing the things that are triggering you. And so it might come out like this sudden thing that's happening, and it might not seem like it's correlated to anxiety or stress, but if you really peel back the layers, and this is why therapy is so helpful, you slowly see, oh, like this morning I was thinking about this, and then I had all this to do today, and then this, and then you just think about that current moment, and you're like, well, in that current moment, I didn't feel any anxiety. So why would my heart start doing that? And then when you look at everything else, like I said, peeling the onion, you see there's a lot of things that led to maybe your cup being too full, and then it finally started seeing something as a threat or too much or whatever, and then it starts to be like, oh no, we need to make the body survive, so now we're going to be on alert and hypervigilant, and we're going to release adrenaline and cortisol, and then once that gets through the bloodstream, the heart does what it's supposed to do. This is the heart literally doing what it's supposed to do when it gets a dose of adrenaline. For me, I didn't struggle a lot with like the racing heart rate. It was really the palpitations, the skip beats, and the flutters. I felt them in my neck. I felt them in my chest. It almost felt like my breath was taken away at times. And this is the most triggering symptom for me. It's that feeling of a skip or a drop or a sudden thump. What this usually is a premature beat, a PVC or PAC. And these happen in healthy hearts. My cardiologist said that if he put a Holter monitor on everybody in the world, 98% of people would clock a PVC or PAC because it just happens all the time. The difference is most people do not feel them. But when your nervous system is sensitized, you feel everything. You feel every change in your body. You are so very in tune. You can probably even feel the blood flowing through you. And I know somebody listening to this is laughing because they've literally felt that feeling of you almost feel like you can feel the blood in your body. So here's what's happening. Your heart beats early, there's a brief pause, and then a stronger beat follows. That stronger beat is what you feel. And your brain immediately goes, well, that's not normal. But structurally, in most cases, especially if you've been evaluated, it's benign. My cardiologist said that PVCs and PACs in a structurally normal heart are completely and 100% benign. Now, here's the part most people miss. The more you anticipate the PVCs or PACs and the more you think about them, the more adrenaline you create. And I know that's so frustrating because telling yourself, don't think about it, don't worry about it, or when you feel it, it kind of like takes your moment away. And to keep living after you feel that is a really hard thing to come to terms with, especially if you're new to feeling all of this. But it is so true. So let me give you an example. When my anxiety was at its worst, I was having around 4,000 PVCs on a Holter monitor a day in 24 hours. Now I have about 40 to 60, and I've changed nothing. Only thing I've changed is my anxiety's gotten a lot better. So back then I used to just sit with them and feel them and obsess over them and think about them all day long. And I was just creating that cycle of fearing them, anticipating them, more adrenaline. Adrenaline increases the frequency. So I just ended up unintentionally maintaining the symptom that I'm trying to get rid of. It is a very unfortunate cycle, but it is such a real cycle. And I'm proof to tell you, I never got on a beta blocker. I never got on any type of arrhythmia medication, literally just anxiety. 4,000 a day in 24 hours to 40 to 60 on my Holter monitors. And I don't even feel any of them. Sometimes around my cycle, I'll feel a couple, but I really never feel. The other thing is chest pain. So, chest pain can feel for me, sometimes I think it's indigestion. I'll get just this feeling where I need to like move and almost burp sometimes, but chest pain is the one that convinces people the most that they're about to have a heart attack because what we've been taught our whole lives, you can even like see the billboards. Oh my God. You can see like in elementary school or like middle school in the health classes, like chest pain equals heart attack. But anxiety related chest pain comes from muscle tension. So your chest wall tightens when you're anxious, and you might not even realize this can be subconscious. But this creates a sharp pain, soreness, and pain that changes with movement. Pain that changes with movement is such a important key thing to keep in the back of your head when you feel this way and you think you're having a heart attack. Pain that changes with movement doesn't happen with heart attacks. It is not gonna, when you change positions or do something, make the pain feel any type of better. So, another thing is breathing patterns. Even just a subtle over breathing that changes your CO2 levels, that can cause chest pain of itself because this creates a tightness once again, a pressure, and this feeling of air hunger. Now, what I relate to and what maybe some of you do is the GI overlap. So, gas, reflux, esophageal pressure, that can all mimic heart related discomfort. So, your brain feels it as or your brain labels it as heart related, but really it's just GI related. I remember when I first had indigestion for the first time, and, like, the only thing that relieved it was burping, but it was such a sharp pain, it scared me so bad. I actually get that a lot, and now I just know, like, okay, pain that changes with movement, pain that changes with burping, that's not gonna be heart attack related. So, why does this keep happening? Here is the loop you are stuck in. You feel your heart, it feels off, you get scared, adrenaline increases, your heart rate changes, you notice it more. You feel your heart more, it feels off, you get scared, adrenaline increases, your heart changes, bam, it's this cycle and now your brain is watching it constantly. So even normal sensations feel amplified and now you're doing things like checking your pulse all the time. And I was there. I literally was taking tracking my blood pressure all day, keeping a log of it, wearing like an O2 monitor. I would keep it in my pocket. Like I had it on me at all times. Obsessed with my Apple Watch. I actually would put it on a workout mode when I was just living my life so that I could constantly see my heart rate going. Sick. And then avoiding activity and sitting still, trying to monitor every feeling in your body. I did all of that. I was terrified of even walking down the street because my heart felt like it was going to stop anytime. I was scared to go to bed because I felt like my heart was going to stop in the middle of my sleep. I was terrified. I was going to cardiologist saying something is wrong with my heart. And none of the things I did, none of the tests I got, nothing reassured me because it never can. A test is never going to fix that thought in your head. The only thing that's going to fix it is stopping that loop and stopping the cycle. I also had to make friends with the symptoms. And I remember at one point before I started going to work out again, I would say, I've done all the tests, I've done everything I can. If my heart stops while I'm working out, hopefully someone can save me. But I literally had to make peace with the thought of dying from this symptom. I had to make peace with the thought of this symptom actually being something wrong with me and knowing I did all I could do to control the situation. I can't just sit still forever and think that that's just going to control my heart from something bad happening. That's another thing. None of that even rationally made sense. If your heart has a problem, something's going to happen whether you're sitting or doing anything. It's going to happen. So, might as well live. So, what actually helps? This is what people actually need. Now that you understand that all of these symptoms are very common with anxiety and they happen from that cortisol and that adrenaline being dumped into the bloodstream, you have to one, stop reevaluating every sensation. I know it's so hard, but if you've been checked, you don't need to redecide what it means every time you feel the sensation. If you've been checked, you don't need to redecide what it means every time. Literally repeat that to yourself every time you feel that sensation related to a symptom you've had checked out. I don't need to redecide what this feeling means again. I've already been told what it means. And that over time is creating peace with that symptom. I've been checked out by the cardiologist. I've had all the tests done. They said I'm okay. They said that this is a symptom of anxiety. It's very common to feel. I can make peace with this symptom. Though I feel uncomfortable, I can make peace with it. And then the second thing, you want to reduce checking. Checking is not helpful. In fact, it actually makes it worse. And a lot of times, if you check it and you see it's high, you're going like your heart rate's high, or you see maybe you do an EKG thing on your Apple Watch and you see a PVC, you're going to panic more. You're going to think about it more. You're going to be like, oh my gosh, it's happening. This must be bad. So it reinforces the importance of the symptom. You're telling yourself, I'm so glad we checked that, or this symptom is dangerous. Third, fix your physiology. This is overlooked constantly. Things that make heart symptoms worse: having low blood sugar, not eating balanced meals throughout the day, being dehydrated, and that means electrolytes too. You have to replenish with electrolytes. I used to just chug massive amounts of water and wonder why I was dehydrated, and it was because I was depleting my body of literally everything, and I wasn't replenishing it with electrolytes. So make sure you balance the ratio of water and electrolytes. Too much caffeine, poor sleep. If your body is unstable, your heart will feel it. Make those a priority if heart symptoms are something you struggle with a lot. 4, let your heart be responsive. Your heart is supposed to change. Trying to control it keeps you hyper aware. Let it change. Let it be adaptable. Let it learn that it's okay and that it's safe in your body. 5, in the moment, do less. When your heart spikes, don't immediately try and fix it. Let it pass. I know what this is. My body is activated. I have felt this before. Even when your heart's racing and you try and do just like a ton of deep breathing, you're immediately trying to fix things. So set a timer and say, I'm not going to worry about this symptom for 5 minutes. And then next time be like, so I'm going to set a timer for 10 minutes. I'm not going to worry about this symptom for 10 minutes. And then next time try 15 minutes. And just the more you delay that trying to fix or trying to focus on it, you take the power and the fear away from the symptom. So I hope if you are going through this, I hope you know, first of all, you're not crazy and you're not alone. I know how scary heart symptoms feel. Like, I mean that so truthfully. It kept me debilitated for a really long time. I was truly couch bound at one point at my parents' place, feeling like my life was over. And a big part of it was heart symptoms. I rushed myself to the ER multiple times saying something is wrong with my heart. And then after leaving the ER, calling the ER doctor back and saying, this just isn't right. And then being like, there's nothing we can do for you. You are very healthy. It's just so real. And unless you've been through it, you don't understand. But you're not alone, and it does get better and it can get better. And you are going to have to do hard things to get through it and get better, right? Like, it's very scary to look at a symptom and say, I'm not going to panic about this. I'm not going to let this be my forefront right now. I'm going to feel this symptom and I'm going to wait 10 to 15 minutes before even thinking about it. That's hard. So, if your heart has been the thing that pulls you back into anxiety over and over again, I get it, because it feels like something you can't afford to ignore. But something feeling dangerous and something actually being dangerous, there's a difference. There's a difference between something feeling dangerous and something being actually dangerous. And once you understand that difference, your reaction to the body starts to change, and that's where the shift starts. So I hope that this episode helped you understand that these feelings and these sensations from anxiety can and do happen. And you're not crazy if you're just enjoying your day and then suddenly you feel them. That doesn't mean it's not anxiety. That doesn't mean the doctors were wrong about the testing. It's the onion. It's unpeeling the onion all day. So I hope this episode helped you, and I'll see you guys next week for our next symptom in the Symptoms Explained series. Bye, guys.